So here we are going outside, going on board the Brig Niagara. Thank you. It's gotten warmer out. It's a light wind, so I might be able to talk. I just gotta talk louder. Let me get back to getting a stop for lunch, like maybe at the cafe or something. Okay.
I don't know how many of you have the opportunity to watch the introductory flow or not. Most people have, but not everyone gets around to it. But the most important thing to remember from that film is that this is not the original Niagara. If it was, we wouldn't sail it the way we do. Okay? This is actually the third reconstruction ship built during the course of the 20th century. This ship was built starting in the spring of 1988. About 3/4 of a mile or so that way, in what is today the parking lot of the convention center. The other side of that skywalk there. None of those hotels and lovely developments were there in the late 1980s. It was actually built on what was then the Erie Sand and Gravels Pier. The hull went in the water on the 10th of September of 1988, which was the 175th anniversary of the Battle of Lake Erie. It was a couple of years later, in the summer of 1990, by the time they finally stepped the mast and did sailing trials, and the building actually turned over to
There's a schooner.
And starting in 1991, she began sailing
over here. Schooners usually have one mast, according to the tour guide.
For a major midlife refit in the very near future. A few quick statistics for those who are interested. She's about 110 feet long on deck, 32 feet extreme beam, draws about 12 feet of water aft, and weighs in around 300 tons. If anybody wants numbers after that, you'll have to ask for them. Okay, watch your steps coming down here. These are some positive.
It's okay. I'm odd anyway, so. There she is, the U.S. Brig Niagara. Wow, she's beautiful.
I'm a landlubber. What does it mean to step a mast? To step the mast? Okay, the mast step is a notch down in the keel, which the bottom of the mast locks into. That is the mast step. Okay. When you step the mast, you're putting it in the ship. So there's frames that are there? Today, yes. Historically, you would have probably had what's called a shear hull. Sort of
You can see the cannon.
Anyway, if we want to take a look up into the mast right now, I mentioned to you that this not up this year. If you look at the top of the mast, you can see in that mast cap up there a round hole. And in that little sort of skeletal platform below it called the crosspiece, there is a square bracket. And on each of those, there's another section of mast called the gallant mast that will go up where it's equally rigged. Okay? Again, that did not go up this year. The mast is actually 3 sections. There is a lower mast, steps into a notch in the keel called the mast step, comes up through the deck, and extends up a little bit above those platforms called the fighting tops. The top mast is then sistered on to the front of that, kind of like so, through similar brackets, and then the gallant mast would go up on top of that. So, again, imagine fully rigged. Each mast would be another 20-some feet tall, with at least one more yard across.
Yeah, this is the fifth fifth naval ship that both me and Brian have been on. We've done Constitution, this
if you
one.
look at the rigging right now, all the black lines that you see, that stuff is standing rigging. That stuff does not move, right?
USS Little Rock, the Sullivans, and the Croker in Buffalo.
The power of the wind sails down into the hull, so it drives it through the water. Without all the standing rigging there, the sails won't like someone come apart over the side.
Oh.
With all the natural color lines you see out there, that are they running rigging? That is what is used to set the sails, take in the sails, brace the yards around, and operate the ship. We're going to head on board now. Please use the handrails going up the bower and down the steps on the other side. Watch your footing at all times. There are more than a few tripping hazards.
There we go, going on board. Wow.
I didn't realize the masts were tilted or were raked back.
Raked.
Yeah, raked,
Yeah, that's very typical, especially for American designs.
So this is the third one built, not the second. So this is the third one built.
Part of it is a stylistic thing. It also helps in the way some of the rigging works, provide a better balance on the way the wind is hitting the sails. And that can be adjusted by different captains sometimes. But those heavily raked masts like that, there's a particular feature of American naval architecture in the early 19th century.
Okay.
Anyway, we are now on the weather deck, spar deck or gun deck. Those would be interchangeable terms on a small warship like Niagara. And it's important to remember that 200 years ago, this would be considered a small warship. It's as large as any of the armed vessels on the Great Lakes in 1813. There were a couple of bigger ones built by both sides down on Lake Ontario in 1814. But by the standards of the ocean-going navies of the period, this is small fry. This ship would not have even required a full captain as commanding officer. Perry's actual rank at the time of the Battle of Lake Erie was Master Commandant. That's roughly the equivalent of a commander in the modern U.S. Navy. He's usually referred to as Commodore. That is not a rank in the U.S. Navy in 1813. That is a customary title given to the commander of the senior officer of a squadron of warships. It does later become an official Navy rank, but in 1813, the highest rank in the U.S. Navy is captain. Anyway, as far as those terms for the deck are concerned, weather deck, spar deck, gun deck, they're all perfectly self-explanatory. Think about them just a moment. Weather deck, you're out in the weather. Spar deck, it is where all the lines in the running rigging come down to the deck to be secured to belaying pins, either at the fife rails at the base of the mast or the pin rails on the bulwarks, and those are what are used to handle the spars and operate the ship, thus spar deck. And gun deck is the most obvious, it's where they're kept. We carry two modern reproductions of 32-pounder carronades on board today. Those are fully functional guns. They are capable of firing a live round. Obviously, that doesn't happen very often. It annoys the Coast Guard no end.
Also, technically a violation of the Rush-by-Go Treaty of 1815.
Technically, yes.
So they fire an explosive shell?
Solid shot.
Solid shot.
And if you're really interested in talking about the guns, that's easier to deal with inside on the mock-up gun deck when we finish the record.
Okay. I'll show you.
I got gun tools and whatnot in there to show you. Anyway, where was I? So there historically there would have been 18 of those 32-pounder carronades on board. Each one of those guns and carriages weighs in at somewhere around 1.25 tons. And the full crew to operate each one would be 7 men, officially. It can be operated with a few less, but 7 ideally. And in the forwardmost gun port on each side, there would have been a 12-pounder lung gun. That pounder designation refers to the weight of shot fired. A gun like this would fire a 32-pound solid iron ball, about 6.5 inches in diameter. 2.5 to 3 pounds of powder behind the ball will throw that a good 1,200, maybe 1,500 yards, depending on elevation and the roll of the ship. That's a little that doesn't really mean that much because the effective range is probably about half that, 600, maybe 700 yards. Smooth bore guns, open sights, active range. 12 pounds up the bow, fire much smaller 12-pound shots, same amount of powder charge. Effective range is maybe about 1,200 yards. Probably could throw the ball about 2 miles.
Not bad.
But yeah, but again, effective range much less. And most naval battles get down to much closer ranges anyway if both sides are being serious about it at the time. But let's see, that's enough about the battle because the original Niagara only fought one pitched battle. Probably fired his guns 3, maybe 4 times in anger after that during the course of the War of 1812. With the end of the 1814 campaign season, came back here and boarded out in Misery Bay across the harbor where the naval station was 200 years ago. And by the spring of the next year, the war was over and that ship never sailed again. It had been built as a very quickly as a wartime, we needed yesterday sort of project, and it was never designed to have a long life. This ship was built for a totally different reason. This ship was built to maintain and educate people in the traditions and skills of square rig sailing. So I'd like you to come out here now. We talked a little bit about the rigging inside and from the dock. Take a look up in the mast at the complexity of what you see up there right now. Keeping in mind that due to the fact that the ship did not fully rig and the fact that all the sails have already been removed for the season, that probably close to half the running rigging is not in place if the ship was fully rigged up. So you're talking about one very complex organization up there once it's fully rigged. You can see how many belaying pins don't have a line attached to them. Just to get an idea how much more would be there where it's fully rigged out. Okay? When you are standing on the deck of a traditionally rigged vessel like this, you can almost think of yourself as standing in the engine. Not the engine room, in the engine itself. You can think of everything above deck as a machine made of wood, canvas, and rope that runs on wind and muscle power. Without the trained muscle power to operate it and maintain it, you are not going anywhere under sail and not for very long. There is a vast amount of work that goes into maintaining this vessel from year to year, just up-rig and down-rig. Keep in mind what you see out here will all come down. All the running rigging still out here will come down this winter. For this winter, some of the upper yards will be sent down, and a temporary tent roof will be rigged over the hull to protect it from the snow, so maintenance will go on during the winter. And next year, assuming a normal year, and that's questionable because we don't know what's going to be going on with the refit, but assuming a normal sailing year next year, about the last weekend of March, the cover will come off, and the upgrade will start, and it'll be about the first weekend of June before it's all back in place and the ship is ready to sail. That happens every year. Right? She sails regularly. She is today a Coast Guard certified sailing school vessel. Normally sails with a crew of around between 30 and 40. 16 to 18 paid professionals, and up to about 24 sail trainees are on board for about 2.5 to 3 weeks at a time. Most of them college-age kids, sometimes a little younger than that. But yeah, there's well over 100 lines in the rig when it's fully set up. You notice I'm calling it a line. It's not a rope, all right? Once it is part of the rig, it's not rope anymore. It's a line. It's got a name and a function. It's rope coiled up and sitting on the dock. Anything out here has got a name and a function. Sure about that one. This is one of the 4 mainsail braces. That lower yard there. This is one of the yard lines that would be used to trim it back and forth and take advantage of the wind from different directions. So they all have a name and a specific function. Any questions about anything?
What are those right there?
Those are sweeps, big oars.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow.
That's one of the ways you would move a ship like this around in the harbor in a dead calm. Where the difference between a sweep and an oar is one, the sweep is bigger, and 2, it's used standing up. Now, if you look between each gun port, there are small ports there. Those are the sweep ports. Those go out through those, and with 2 people on each one,
Bring out the
facing
sweeps.
one another. Once you get everybody coordinated and working together, you can get the ship moving up to about 1 mile an hour. We've done it on a number of occasions. This is about as big a ship as you'd want to try and move around under sweeps, but it can be done.
Where do the sails go?
Pardon me?
Where the sails go?
all the stuff that's been removed.
Yeah.
It's all goes down to
No,
the
I
state.
mean like when it's on, where are, like, cause you look at this.
Okay,
screen.
so you see that black thing going across there, that is the 4 yard. It would be, one of the big square sails would be attached to that. When not in use, it would be hauled up and furled and tied tightly to the yard with the gaskets. Same way with the topsail yards above. There would be the driver, which is the biggest sail on the ship, would be in this boom, this gaff, that gaff going up almost to the top, below the fighting tops there. And usually when the sail is furled, it's gathered up between the gaff and the spencer mast here that it pivots on. And all of that stuff, as it comes off, it all goes into the basement of the museum to be inspected, overhauled, and if necessary replaced before the next sailing season. There is a basement and a sub-basement museum, fully equipped carpentry shop, do most of our maintenance. The sub-basement is our rigging shop. It's a huge amount of work goes on maintaining this and operating. Anybody who tells you, oh, it's a sailboat, the wind is free, I guarantee you, they've never had a sailboat. Not even a small one.
The standing lines are painted black. Is that for us land lovers, or is that typical?
That would have been done typically. Historically, they would have been tarred. So
Okay.
it's in place, tightened down, tar them,
Whoa.
protect the weather.
Wind's kicking up.
They hold their shape and their tightness. Okay.
Yeah, rain.
Casting, yes, and we'll come back to that when we come up from below deck. Okay.
Cool.
So follow me this way.
Now we're going on below.
We are going to head down to the berth deck. You can use both sides if you wish. Let me go first, please. It's fairly dim down below. I would take off your sunglasses. Use the handrails going below. And for the vast majority of you, be prepared to duck. Clearance below deck is about here on me.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
You can sit on those chests there. There's a couple benches back here.
We are now below deck.
There are a few more seats up that way. There's seats on the benches here. Okay, folks, now we are down on the berth deck here. This is the crew's quarters down here. This is, the majority of the crew are down here first, in the course of the summer, living out of a sea bag, sleeping in a hammock, and not much different than the conditions would have been on a merchant vessel a couple hundred years ago.